Hey, sorry, my camera. Okay. Hope everyone's doing well today. In this moment, I know I'm only speaking to the people who are watching my playback, so I hope you're well as you're watching this. On this live, I'm trying something different. I'm playing from a different playlist this time, from SoundCloud. I was afraid to do this initially because I keep receiving notifications about my Tarot&CHILLs that they're blocked in certain countries because of how I'm playing copyrighted music. But I don't really care. I like the vibe. So I'm playing this SoundCloud, seeing what happens. As usual, I've put the link in the description, so you can check it out. This playlist is really special because it's by somebody who's like standard profession, I guess you could say, isn't music. She's actually an artist. Her name is Tony Gum. You should check her out on Instagram. She's, I think, on a hiatus right now, but I don't think she as a person will ever stop creating. So she's got various playlists on SoundCloud that she made a few years ago. Oh my God, 11 years ago. That's crazy. I'm only realizing this now. I'm playing a playlist from 11 years ago. Yeah, so the vibe is stellar, timeless. It's awesome that I can still jam to it. As I said at the beginning of this, I do hope that you're well. Today hasn't been the greatest for me. I've had better days. And I could have started this earlier, but I was basically fighting with my child over my laptop. So it was difficult for me to get the laptop. But because I'm doing this on a really chilled Sunday, I will keep up I will do this. I will stream for the normal 2 hours that I usually do. There's no time limit. I started early enough to be able to just vibe out and see what happens. So yeah, we shall see what happens. If I do go 2 hours though, it's gonna cut into my usual like weekly reading. So that will obviously then be shifted to a bit later. I might even do it tomorrow, who knows. I've just been really low energy today. My vibes just have not been, yeah, I don't know. And when my vibes are low, I can never account for what it is, what the root is. Yes, fine, mental health, depression, whatever, but by this point, I would like to be consistent about linking the spiritual aspect of this living experience with everything else. So I'm pretty sure that something spiritual happened to me today. Although obviously, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm just yapping now. The signal is definitely going to be better today, by the way. So you can bet on that. I'm sorry again for the terrible signal for last night's Tarot&CHILL. It sucked. And yeah. Reading with poor signal really does, it affects everything. I did say as well, I'm sticking to the hey Carrie. Thank you for asking. Today I haven't been great. I've been really exhausted and yeah, mentally it just I haven't been my best. But always trying. Yeah, I relate to that absolutely. How are you doing? How are you doing? And even in the good, it's like the good only lasts like, sometimes it doesn't even last the whole day. It only lasts for a few hours and then back down again. It's okay. Like I said yesterday to you, it's all we can do is try, you know? Yeah. Sigh indeed. Indeed. Yeah. I want to stay hopeful in general. I pride myself in how much hope I can hold, but yo, these days, upkeeping the hope has been really tough. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm at home. Let me see. Let me pull some cards and see what's going on. Ooh. So, the cards I got for you, Carrie, were the Empress, the Six of Cups in reverse, and the Five of Rods in reverse. I'm going to read the interpretation of these two. So this card in reverse speaks of nostalgia, a persistent longing to move back in time and relive your memories, emotional issues that need resolution, constant harking back to the past and failing to appreciate the promise of the present and the future, inability to deal with the aging process, or someone who, like Peter Pan, refuses to grow up and take responsibility for their life. Although, yeah, I don't think that last sentence... yeah, no, they're not always that bad. I understand why you wouldn't like reverses, but they're not always that bad, especially in this deck. And then this card in reverse speaks of hidden agendas, generating strife, hostility, inability to cooperate or see a wider picture, aggression, territorial conflicts, fear of loss of control. So with all of these cards, I'm sensing what you were speaking of yesterday, that today generally it's like, so this card speaks of abundance, an ability to feel love, feel loved, a connection to your feminine energy, to nurture, and yeah, and it feels like this energy or this part of yourself is being blocked. Or not being blocked, no, not being blocked. It is blocked, and it feels like working with that blockage is your theme. Maybe considering your story, because and beneath you have the One of Cups, and then you have the Moon. Probably has to do with the that love situation. And how maybe it's left you feeling hopeless for anything better. Yeah. maybe, I don't know, it feels like that, yeah, your story, what happened, is affecting, it's like it really closed your heart off. But that, yeah. I have words I can say, oh, that's not true, but like, as in, it shouldn't be closing your heart off in the way that it is. It's clearly very difficult to let go of. But with the moon falling out, and coupled with the One of Cups, I think that a heart opening or like a healing from that. Okay. Yeah. I think healing will come on its own, in its own time. It's really painful though, I can feel that. Yeah, no, so no hope for that just ended. Definitely no hope for that. That's done, but it clearly is affecting the way that not just the way that you feel, the way that you can hope for the future. It feels like you're in a hopeless space right now. Oh, I beg your pardon. Sorry. Yeah, so no hope. Yes, okay. Yeah. Yeah. That is the frequency of what's coming out here. However, like I've said, I think healing is going to come on its own. I feel like the pain of what happened is kind of deluding you into believing that there's nothing better that's going to come, and better definitely will come. So with these two cards, you also have the World, which speaks of like feeling a oneness with life, feeling connected to all of life, you know, divine connection to divine consciousness, you know. So this is, I mean, it may feel otherwise, but it's a very hopeful, there's a lot of work happening behind the scenes. Spiritually, Carrie, you're doing a lot of work. A lot is happening, and you just need to be patient with yourself in the way you're processing everything. Yeah. You just need to be patient. It's all all of this, you're healing a lot. And bless you. And as well, I think you should look out for, I mean, yeah, I think this is still all internal processing, but there is a new moon coming up in a few days that may help you do some releasing regarding this painful separation that just happened. Hey Nokwanda, I hope you're well. Yeah, Carrie and I were tapping into an energy where we could be better, but we're trying. Sorry. I hope this Mercury retrogrades generally, they do a thing, but I hope that you're open to working with it. I hope all of us are, and that we're not intimidated, and we're ready to face all of the gunk that's being unearthed during this retrograde season. Feels like there's a lot of internal shit coming out of us that, if we work with, can leave us feeling a lot happier by the end of this season. I'm not sure when the retrograde ends though. I think it's on the 18th of August. I'll have to check and confirm that. I'm curious about everybody's ex stories though. I already know of the usual ones that are in the chat, but I've heard in communities that I'm not attached to of people reuniting with their exes, and it's like, it's working out. I don't have this person I'm not reuniting with, but I told myself that me and this person need to not be together. Like, our energies just don't match. We're not okay for each other, that there's better for each other out there. But lately, every time we communicate, there's still a lot of love between us, which is really nice and really comforting. Like, not all love has to look a specific way, you know? As long as two people love each other, anything can happen. Two people love each other and they're unafraid. That being unafraid is very important. I'm just gonna shuffle now and see what comes. I just feel like shuffling right now. That's funny. That's very funny. You actually could be right, you know. If you're into astrology, Nokwanda, you should check out your natal chart. Or you let me know if you're aware of it. But anyway, in your natal chart, your Venus placements, or the amount of placements you have in your 9th house, will tell you whether or not that's the case. But if you feel it, then that's highly likely. I think that's the same with me. I've just always felt more drawn and generally more interested in like other cultures, and I'm very good at connecting and making like long-lasting connections with people who live oceans away from me. So I get that. I really do. That's a funny way to get over your ex. I actually follow someone on Instagram who's done the same, but not to get over her ex. She's just very bored of people in South Africa. So she's 100% convinced that her whole life, not just love, but where she can truly blossom and be more herself, is overseas. That's actually cool. If you can, you should leave this country and go somewhere else. Go somewhere else, travel the world. If you have no ties to this place, and if you can actually make the move, then I highly suggest you do. Every time I shuffle, there's so many cards falling out. I'm going to try look into Mercury retrograde as a whole. I was supposed to do that for last night's reading, but yeah, I didn't. There were too many questions. So I'm just going to try see Mercury retrograde vibe. Let's see what comes up. There's a reading that I'll link in the description of this video now by Queen Cup Tarot, who also has been dealing or pulling this energy, the Page of Swords, which she mentioned in her reading deals with somebody who is seeking information, actively doesn't have enough of it, but it's uncertain whether or not this person will make a move with the little information they have or sit and wait. Cool. Then we have the Nine of Cups following up. This is really a general energy that I feel we're all going to come into this Mercury retrograde. I'm still so convinced that this Mercury retrograde isn't as bad as... It's not going to be as bad. Like the rumors, we don't believe the rumors, you know? There's something about this season that's going to gift us with an opportunity to be happier. I'm really convinced about that. I can't let go of that. Even with the way that I'm feeling today and the way that I'm up and down, as Kerry mentioned in the chat, I still have so much hope that this is going to be a really good Mercury retrograde. Obviously, if you follow the retrograde rules. So please make sure that you double check everything. When you buy a ticket for something, read the ticket twice over and then read it again on the day of whatever the ticket is for, a flight, an event, whatever, you know. Drive slow on the roads, please. Please. Try to remain calm as you're driving as well. When I was taught to drive, I learned how to drive for other people. That's a mantra that kept coming up a lot, because not a lot of people, especially in these Joburg roads, drive for other people. Most of them are driving for themselves. So if you want to stay safe, make sure that you are driving for other people. So that means like approaching a four-way stop or a place where the robots are not working. Don't think that you can just skip the robot just because you're not seeing anyone close or approaching the robot at the same time as you. Follow follow the rules of the road. Stop at stop signs, stop at red robots, slow down at orange robots. You know what I mean? Take it slow. Don't rush. Don't rush. There's no need to rush right now. Oh yes, I said I wanted to post this reading. Need this? Not really. So I'm finding the reading that I was watching just now by Queen Cup Tarot, just to link it in the description so that you can tune into that. Even now, if you want to, you could leave this chat and tune into that reading. I'm going to be here for at least, I don't know, it's quiet today, so I might not do the whole 2 hours that I planned to do, but I will be here for at least an hour. So yeah, she mentioned in the reading that this card speaks, like I said, of somebody who doesn't have enough information. And I think that this has to do with, with these two cards falling out together, I think that generally we're in a state of hopeless. I think this card could reference the state of hopelessness that we're in regarding this feeling and regarding the fact that things will get better, that there's more for us in this next relationship. We can get we can land up in better material standing than we are in right now. Like there's hope, you know, but we don't have enough information on how that's going to happen. And because of that, we are in a state of hopelessness. Just because we can't see how everything is going to work out doesn't mean that things aren't going to work out. We have to practice that whole thing of surrendering to your life. Like not everything is your business. What's God's business is God's business. Let it be God's business and let God worry about it. You know? When I get my first job, I'll find my life overseas. Yeah. All right, cool. You do that. I know someone who well, not personally. I mean, we met once and then I have her number and we follow each other on social media. She moved recently to Dubai, and it seems like she is purely dependent on her community. Like, yeah, she's still job searching. I don't actually know how she got there, but it seems like she's staying with friends that she knows overseas and they're helping her out. So, yeah, if you feel enough fire in you to do it, then you don't have to wait for your first job. You can just go and let life happen for you. Because it can. It can. It's very magical. When you're meant to do something, nothing's going to get in your way. Not a lack of funds, not who you know or don't know. What's for you is for you. Interesting. Yeah. There's a statement that I'm still trying to process, that I read, that I've been seeing everywhere, and that I've been understanding as, like, I guess, the initiation into adulthood. That speaks about how your happiness is entirely up to you, and you have to, like, work to, you have to work for it. You can't just, I don't know, I've been moving through being kind of upset about the lack of childlike wonder in most adults. I thought it was just a thing of, oh, you can just choose to be happy and da da da, but choosing to be happy is actually very difficult. But it is something that you have to learn how to do, and it's something that can keep your inner child safe. And with the cards that I've been pulling out here, I've been pulling out from the top of the pile, they are hinting to that our joy and our peace and our bliss, it's really our responsibility. And I think, I know that that's the root of my unhappiness right now, that I'm coming to terms with how much I have been relying on external forces, other experiences, other, like, people to make me happy. So waiting for that love of my life in order for me to be happy, or waiting for that perfect job or that perfect big check to make me happy. But yeah, I'm supposed to be happy regardless of what happens. I'm supposed to be at peace, at least. As I mentioned before in the beginning of this, I'm playing a different playlist right now from a artist named Tony Goom. I have put the link to this playlist in the description of this video. I used to love these playlists. I used to really adore them. She's very good at curating music. I forgot how good these are. Thank you for asking, Nokwanda. I am low energy, honestly. Today, just, yeah, no specific reason for it. I was just low and tired. But I'm trying. We never stop trying. Always hopeful. How are you doing? I checked in on the Schumann resonance chart, and according to what I have observed via that graph, I'll also put that in the description of the video so you can check it out yourself. The Schumann resonance chart, by the way, is essentially a graph reading it records the frequency of the Earth's heartbeat, essentially. And today, well, the Earth's heartbeat has been it's been intense over the past 2 weeks, which I think can feed into why everybody has been having a crazy few weeks. Each week is either more tiring or just as tiring as the week before. It kind of feels like we're not getting a break. There's just always something to process, or there's always something to realize, or there's always something to heal from. And it feels especially hectic over this past month, that there's always something. Yeah, and like I said, I think that links to the Schumann resonance. So, yeah, I'm charging it to that when I don't know why I'm feeling low, or just low energy and just bleh. Yeah, I've linked it in the description of this video, so you can check the graph out yourself if you're interested. Which I was telling somebody via social media, I think everybody should be interested in this. I think for their own sake and to understand their relationship with the earth, everybody should be aware of the Schumann resonance and what the earth is doing vibrationally, because I think it's always been affecting us, but I think that because of how thin the veil is, especially these days, it's going to affect us more than we know and more than we'll have words for a lot of the time. So that anytime you're feeling crazy and you don't know what else to say, you can just be just look at the Schumann resonance chart, man. I wish I could say that. I wish I could explain to people that, hey, the graph is reading crazy today. Please don't try to contact me. But there are a lot of people who have been making my day today. And the value of connection has been surprisingly fruitful in a way that it hasn't been before. I'm still learning how to relate to other people, not be a people pleaser. And that's been a very difficult one, especially this year. Trying to relate to people in a more grounded way. I've had to retreat from everyone and kind of start over, which has sucked, but I just couldn't do what I was doing before. That people-pleasing shit is really nonsense. It's ugh. I don't understand how I got caught up in how I got so caught up in that, while other people in life in general have learned how to just be chill. Like, I don't know why I'm such... Well, I do know why, but just people pleasing sucks in general, man. Just ugh. Rather not. I'd rather I think it makes more sense to start off in life being someone like almost selfish and self-centered versus someone who's like selfless and people-pleasy. I think being a people-pleaser is very dangerous. Okay, that's good to know. I'm glad you're okay. When is the tarot to begin, and do you read for your friends? My journey began with a breakup, and I was just so obsessed with needing to find out whether or not me and this person who broke up with me were gonna ever end up getting back together. So I obsessively watched a bunch of tarot videos. I'm not entirely sure how I actually came across the very first one. I've always been into divination. Sorry, this vibe is interesting. Okay. I've always been into divination and like spirituality in general. So watching tarot videos wasn't too far off from what I am about in general. I'm just not sure how it is that I came across the very first tarot video. But I know who it was that I first watched. And yeah, like I said, I first watched it because I was processing a breakup. And then I moved on to watching the tarot reader who I've posted in the description of this live stream, Queen Cup Tarot. And in one of her early lives, she encouraged us, as I try to just read for yourself. And then one day I was just walking around, what's this, Monte Casino, back when Scoobs was open. I just decided to walk around in there just for the vibes. And then I saw a tarot deck and I was like, wait, I can just buy this right now and see what happens. And then, yeah, that's what happened. Hey, Sayan. Let me see. I do read from my friends. Yes, I do read from my friends. I'm finding it a bit difficult to do because of my bias. It's like that whole thing of how doctors can't operate on their own family members. I have the same kind of thing going on by reading from my friends because I already know their story. My bias always interferes the way that I interpret the cards. So I don't really like doing that right now, but I do when they ask. Cyan, I'm going to pull cards for you. What's next professionally? Let's see. So your first card that fell out, Cyan, was the Three of Cups. I think what's next professionally is for you to consider is networking, essentially. I think that the next opportunity that comes for you will come through someone you know. Like for me, the last job that I had, I got through a friend who had another friend who started working at a new firm and needed people on her team to help her organize papers, shit like that. And then you have a whole bunch of other cards that have fallen out here that are too much for me to go through piece by piece. So I'm just gonna look at the general energy as a whole and speak on what I think is coming out. So in this networking opportunity, it feels large. It feels very entrepreneurial, if that's something that you can manage. Maybe you're the entrepreneur or someone you know is an entrepreneur. It feels like you'll be you'll be like working at the top per se, but you'll be like, I'm seeing you working shoulder to shoulder with somebody who created the business. I'm not getting, so it will be like a startup kind of vibe. That's what I'm receiving here, where each person's role will be a little bit undefinable. Okay, that's wonderful. Then you should follow through with that. That's great. You also, one of the cards that came out was the Star. So that's good to know. Then the idea that could come out is potentially in you and what you need to create for your own self. But I think with the Three of Cups, it definitely involves you working with other people. It's not just going to be you creating this new idea. Yeah, roles. Okay, so you being entrepreneurial, then you'd understand how it works when you're creating like a company or a business, when something's created from scratch and how the roles aren't really clearly defined. Everybody will have to show up with enough passion to keep the thing going. It doesn't matter what the labels of the roles are, as long as everybody's like playing their role. I think that's the kind of matrix system you'll be a part of. Yes, that's the word. Yeah. You also receive the 5 of Discs. So yeah, it's also giving that entrepreneurial thing, and it's the frequency of how, like, I'm receiving the frequency of how you being entrepreneurial, I'm sure you understand how difficult entrepreneuring, the journey of entrepreneurship can be when you need to come up with your own funds, you need to figure out where the funds go, how to invest, all of that stuff. That's the kind of mind or system that you'll be a part of, is what I'm feeling into. Yeah. I'm receiving that it's going to be a challenge, but it's not something that is, it's not something that I think I'm receiving that generally you're a very strong character. So it's not something that you won't be able to overcome. Timeline wise, I'm not receiving a timeline. To be quite honest, I don't really like doing the whole timeline bit because of how malleable time is in general. It's very much based on your own processes. So it's kind of like, I don't know, sorry for this vague answer, but the sooner you can be yourself and like, the timeline will be up to how eager you are about bringing it forth. So you can decide today to start going out and talking to people. And if this is something that resonates with you, you can start messaging people yourself to be like, I have this idea, or do you have any business plans or whatever that you can start, that you feel inspired to start. The sooner you do that, the sooner it can come forth. You know what I mean? It's really up to you. It's very personal. However, you also received the Tower. And to me, there's a quickness with this card. So I think it could happen. It could happen like, okay, sitting with it now, I'm receiving like a month. Within the next month, like very quickly though, quickly and surprisingly, something you don't expect. I'm also receiving maybe a move of house, so it could happen after you move or after you are prompted to move. But this is also, it's up to you and how you choose your story to play out. We, as tarot readers, we can pull, read cards, say whatever, but you and the way you choose to live your life is what takes precedence over what these cards have to say. It's definitely very entrepreneurial. I think an idea will spark within you or the people that you're meant to work with. And then you'll know. Hey, Joao. Okay. Let's see. So, Joao, you received the world. And then, as a follow-up, you received the Four of Swords, the King of Swords, and the Devil in reverse. And then beneath, you received the Strength card, which is about shadow work, and the Four of Rods, and Temperance, and various other cards that are pointing to something very spiritual. So it feels like you're going to go through a lot of inner work over these next 2 months. Either you or someone in your direct circle is very, very good at overthinking. And there's something about that needs to be dealt with, or else you're going to end up, and whether or not this is you or someone in your community, you're going to end up in a weird kind of rut if you don't ground yourself and learn when to ask for help. That's very important. And surrendering to knowing when you need help is in itself a very spiritual activity. So if you can, stay ahead of what may come by meditating and just getting in touch with your internal workings, This speaks of a retreat from life, inability to cope, imprisonment or feeling of being trapped, closing down, enforced seclusion, loneliness. And then this card in reverse speaks of paradox, a side of the psyche that is actually the way through to the light. Breaking free of old habits of pessimism and negativity by allowing in different perceptions. So yeah, in general, Joao, I think you're going to have a very spiritual next 2 months that will involve your home life or coming home to yourself. But I'm more receiving a coming home to yourself. Lots of shadow work, if you understand the terms of that and how that works. Hopefully you are doing shadow work now. Again, stay ahead of that by look into how you can do shadow work, journaling, meditating, all of that. And then you also have Temperance. So while things may feel dark internally or look dark around you, you'll always have angels there available to help you. Your process is going to be one of those things where you'll have to affirm regularly that you are on your own journey. And you have to remember that. And you will come out of it better than you came in. I'm seeing an incredible spiritual transformation and improvement for you. Very spiritual though, extremely spiritual. There's also the Ten of Swords. So Joao, you may be somebody who tends to feel burdened by other people's problems. So maybe this is likely somebody who is in your life who is kind of a narcissist and who adds pressure onto you that isn't yours to take on. And then they trigger something within you. And they just make you feel like shit. Hopefully that can be dealt with. And because it's the home, because you've got the Four of Rods, maybe it's like a relative. Just beware of that as well. Beware of any codependent family members who tend to take advantage of your kindness. But yeah, very good spiritual cards overall. You're going to go through a very spiritual transformation, which is lovely. because I think spirituality is where, I think spirituality is more important than the physical world. A lot of people don't give that enough credit. They don't give that side of life enough credit. My question is, what is my next major life change before the year ends? Okay. Woo. So, Nokwanda, I first received the 10 of discs and then the 10 of rods. And then as like a clarification, I received the 5 of discs in reverse. So it's giving something something familial, something to do with inheritance, family traditions, generational ndondon, maybe like, what is this? Black tax, and how that, there's just the frequency of black tax. But hold on. Sorry, I'm giving a vague answer. Let me just sit with this more. So this card speaks of moving house, of an enforced move. And in general, this card speaks of like a whole, the completion of a material cycle. So it speaks of like, okay, I'm receiving that like something financial may come for you, but a financial blessing, but that financial blessing will have to be used responsibly. So responsibly and for the, yeah, gosh, you know when your ancestors give you a material gift, but it's not just a material gift for you, it's in order to uplift your entire family. So if I got an influx of money right now, I would need to use it for my cleansing, because there's a cleansing that's pending for me and my family and my bloodline, but we don't have the funds to be able to carry through with it right now. So that kind of thing, it feels like that's what's happening, that may be what is in line for you. You will get a blessing, but you will be very responsible to use that blessing in order to assist your family. And then you receive the 8 of Swords and the Hanged Man. So it may feel like you may feel a little overwhelmed by it and by the responsibility of needing to bear the blessing and make the decision on what to do with it, but you should trust your intuition. So just essentially in general, through whatever happens, regardless of whether or not I'm saying turns out, trust your intuition. And don't be afraid to do things that don't, like, if you feel like you need to do something, don't let anyone else tell you, no, that doesn't make any sense. You know, you are connected to the truth and what needs to happen, always. But yeah, that's what I'm receiving. You will be the bearer. The crown is heavy. That's what I'm getting. You will be the bearer of a very heavy, very serious, but very shiny diamond crown. And it feels largely material. This card, yeah, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this, but it also speaks of inheritance. Family traditions. The action of uniting a family. So maybe it's not a material blessing. You may be blessed with you may receive the blessing of vision, where where a problem will arise, but you'll be the only one who knows how to fix it. And you'll have to step into that role of being responsible and taking the lead of saying, no, everybody keep quiet. I know what the next move is. So don't doubt yourself, essentially. Please don't doubt yourself. Please follow your intuition. Be sure to always trust yourself. That's very important. Also, should any hardship arise, like a material hardship or something that just essentially leaves you unsure. Yeah, no, but I've said it enough times. You really need to trust yourself. And trust that there's always a solution, because there always is. Even if you don't see it in the moment, there's always a solution for every problem. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking into everything, and the linking idea between all of those cards is family drama, essentially. Family drama. Nothing irritates me like a lack of unity between people who are supposed to be united, you know? But anyway, you've got everything you need. You're probably the generational curse breaker, or the person that bears the gifts. This is a really quiet one. So I think that I would have reached the hour mark in 2 minutes. I think I'm gonna close the live once those 2 minutes are up, if I don't see a new question from a new attendee in the read-in. Wow. Hey, Chicho. Cool. Thank you for the clarity as well. For one single card, I appreciate that. You receive the Three of Rods in reverse. This speaks of an inability to express dreams or a lack of vision, inappropriately channeled or frustrated creativity, which can lead to addiction or even desperation. The possibility of reconnection and recovery. So, yeah, I don't. I appreciate that. Like I said, I appreciate the one card prompt, but I do normally, if had I received this card without your prompt, I would have pulled another for clarification. Underneath the card though, underneath the deck, you have the Three of Cups and the Tower. I think this has something to do with it will likely be very friendship based. Or it will be prompted by something to do with the people you relate to, the people around you. Frustrated creativity, which can lead to addiction or even desperation. Possibility of reconnection and recovery. No, it's not normally the opposite. It's not normally the opposite. It's like an inversed. It's like inversed. So, all right. Upright. This card speaks of the artist, the writer, somebody who's generally able to create and express. Reversed, this card speaks, from what I've defined here, it speaks of that energy being suppressed in some way for some reason. So where you normally would be able to just write and create and make and have hope and dream and have new ideas, something about that energy is suppressed. Yeah. So I'd suggest that you seek ways to essentially what I think is coming for you is a spiritual growth. I think it's a very spiritual season for a whole lot of us. So I'm just sitting with this a bit more. Yeah, maybe a period of stagnancy, but the stagnancy, it feels, will come up. It will be a spiritual resolve. You know that period of stillness just before something big happens? Yeah. Okay. So I did say that if no new message came, that I would leave, but a new message came. So now I'm going to push the time back to maybe so the time I've been on live so far is 1 hour and 3 minutes. I'm gonna push it to 1 hour and 10 minutes, see what happens there. And again, if no new messages come, then I'm gonna end the live, and you can catch me likely next weekend, or if I have the energy, I'll come during the week. But man, during the week, these weeks have been so, like I mentioned, deeply spiritual. And when we go through spiritual work collectively, and when I go through spiritual work as an individual, I really don't have enough energy to spare. Yeah, I really don't. So if I were to tune into these tarot and chills, I'd probably tune in very miserably and with low energy and just really shitty vibe, and I don't want to do that. So hopefully this week turns out better in general. But as I have said before, I do weekly readings, and so I will be doing a weekly reading for this coming week, and we'll see the vibe that comes up. Last week I pulled cards for I tapped into the energy of us being prepared to live our dreams out properly, and in that preparation, our energy bodies are going to obviously change new form, take on new shape. Time is going to do a really weird thing. Nothing is going to be like holdable. Nothing's going to be still. Everything's going to be moving, and all of that movement is very exhausting to process in our emotional and energetic bodies. Mercury retrograde just started, so it might actually just be a very, not draining week, but like Carrie mentioned earlier on in this chat, it's going to be very up and down. We'll see. But I definitely try to show up for these live readings every weekend, so if you don't catch me this weekend, you'll catch me next weekend for sure. To remind everyone, I'm updating the playlist as I go, and they're all in the description of the video. So if you're into what you hear, you can just check out what I'm playing. Okay, we would have reached that mark. Thank you to everyone for being present. Thank you for trusting me to pull cards for you. Like I said, I'm going to make sure to be doing this every weekend. So you can catch me next weekend. I tried to say that I would do this between specific hours that I did not meet today. So you can trust that I'll just be there on the day. The time is going to be a little bit iffy, but I will be there on the day, Saturday and Sunday, or Saturday or Sunday. But I update throughout the week. Find me on Twitter. I do try to use the post function on YouTube as well, where I post about when it is that I'm going to start the live. So you can look out for either of those things, or do the notification thing, the notification bell thing. I guess that helps. I don't know. I've seen into other tarot readers how it doesn't help them. So whatever. If you catch me, catch me. If you don't, you'll just catch me next time.